Before you retire, and I mean before you turn in paperwork, before you roll anything over into a different account, before you listen to cookie cutter advice that isn't tailored to you, you really need to watch this. Because the biggest mistakes I see in retirement planning don't come from bad intentions. They come from people not knowing what questions to ask and what moves to make until it's too late. Who this video is for. If you're within 5 years of retirement or already retired, this matters. Because most people don't mess up retirement by doing something reckless. They mess it up by not knowing what questions to ask. So today, I want to walk you through the things most people don't think about until retirement is right in front of them. My name is Samaya, and I'm the founder of The Legacy Circle. I'm a retirement specialist that helps people plan for their distribution phase of retirement with confidence, clarity, and simplicity. So let's dive in. Saving money is not the same as having a retirement plan. One of the biggest misconceptions is people thinking, I've saved enough, so I'm ready to retire. Saving is important, but saving alone doesn't answer these questions. How will income actually show up? What happens if the market drops early in retirement? Which accounts do I pull from first? How long does this money realistically need to last? What income will continue to my spouse after I'm gone? Your retirement plan shouldn't just answer how much you have in your accounts. It needs to answer how it all works. This is where people get confused because no one ever explained the difference between accumulating money and distributing it. The retirement red zone. There's a phase of life we call the red zone, typically the 5 years before and after retirement. This is the most dangerous time to be overexposed to market risk. Why? Not because the market drops, but because of when it drops. This is where sequence of returns risk come in. What that really means is this. Two people can have the same exact investments, earn the same average return, and still end up with very different outcomes in retirement. The difference isn't the return, it's the order of the returns. If the market does well early in retirement, great. But if the market drops early, right when you've stopped working, that's where the damage happens. Here's why. When you're retired, you're no longer just investing, you're withdrawing. So if the market's down and you still need income to live on, you're forced to pull money out of accounts that are already lower in value. That does two things. One, it permanently reduces your account balance, and two, it gives that money less time to recover. And that's how people run out of money even if the market eventually rebounds, because withdrawals during downturns lock in losses. That's why staying fully invested right up to or into retirement can be risky, even for people who've done everything right. Now, this doesn't mean you should be scared of the market. It means risk needs to be intentional and strategic. Income versus growth. At some point, retirement stops being about growth and starts being about reliability. Growth looks great on a statement. Income is what pays the bills and keeps us comfortable so we can actually enjoy retirement and travel and hang out with the grandkids and finally get into that hobby that you've been wanting to. Now, what most people forget to plan for is guaranteed income versus flexible income. Guaranteed income is income that you can expect to come in every month, no matter what the stock market's doing. This could be Social Security income, pensions, guaranteed income annuities. Flexible income is income that you take on a discretionary basis. This could be withdrawals from your 401k, saving, or rental income, or maybe even dividends paying from stocks or interest from your CD. These are all subject to change or potentially run out if you deplete your accounts enough. Now, most of you will qualify for SSI and maybe are already taking it, but we know that SSI is a base. It's not a full plan, and most of the time, the income you get from Social Security is not enough to cover basic expenses. This is why we like to have at least 1 or 2 other guaranteed income payments coming in, so we're not relying solely on SSI. It's also important to know where your income is coming from, even if it's on a flexible basis. Do you have another income stream you can tap into if the market's down so you don't lock in losses? What about if CD rates go down and you're no longer making as much interest? Do you have an alternative to keep your money growing to outpace inflation? Most people don't just retire because they hit a number, they retire because they feel confident their income won't run out. Your accounts don't all work the same way. This is another place people get tripped up, and it gets expensive if you don't understand it. A lot of people lump all their money together and call it retirement money. But in retirement, not all accounts behave the same, even if the balance looks good on paper. There are really 3 things that matter once you're retired. Number 1, how the account is taxed. Number 2, how easily you can access the money. And number 3, what happens when the market drops. Tax treatment. Let's start with taxes. A 401k, TSP, or traditional IRA are all tax deferred, which sounds good. But it means every dollar you take out later counts as income. So withdrawals can end up pushing you into a higher tax bracket later, which could increase your Medicare premiums or make your Social Security more taxable. Now, a brokerage account isn't tax deferred, but now you're dealing with capital gains taxes when you sell. Same money, different tax consequences. This is why where you pull income from matters, not just how much you have. Liquidity. Next is liquidity. Basically, how easy is it to get your money out? Some accounts let you take money anytime. Some only allow limited withdrawals. Some penalize you if you take money out at the wrong time or in the wrong way. Some, like traditional IRAs and 401ks, require you to take money out at some point through RMDs. Most people don't learn this until they're already in retirement, needing funds, and they don't have a distribution plan in place. Market exposure and volatility. And finally, volatility. Most 401ks, TSPs, and brokerage accounts are fully exposed to the market. So when the market's down, your account value is down. And if you're withdrawing income, you're selling assets at a loss. That's very different from pulling income from an account that's stable and not market dependent. One account can recover, the other locks in losses. The mistake isn't saving in the wrong accounts, it's using the right accounts in the wrong order and for the wrong purpose. Every one of your accounts should have a job. Some for growth, some for tax efficiency, some for liquidity and income. Why waiting too long can cost you options. One thing people don't realize is that timing matters. Interest rates change, income payouts change, product features change. The longer you wait, the fewer options you typically have. Not because you did anything wrong, but because the market and the interest rate environment changed. You don't have to rush to plan for retirement, but you also don't want to procrastinate past the point of flexibility. You don't need to do everything, you just need a strategy. I'm not here to say everyone needs the same solution. You don't. But you do need a strategy that answers: how much income do I need? Where does it come from? How is risk managed? How long will this money last? If you can't answer those questions clearly, that's not a failure, it just means you haven't been guided through it yet. So before you retire, I want you to pause and really think about this. Do you feel confident in how your retirement income will work? Or are you just hoping everything lines up? There's a big difference. If this video raised questions for you, that's a good thing. Awareness is the first step. And if you're watching this and thinking, I wish someone had explained this earlier, that's exactly why I make these videos. If you want help mapping out where your income will come from in retirement, how much you'll actually need, and how to reduce risk going into retirement, you can book a free strategy call with me using the link below. And I'm curious, what's the biggest question or concern you have about retirement right now? Drop them in the comments below or book a call with me directly using the link. Talk soon.